Hi everyone, long time no see, but anyway, welcome back to Adam's English channel. V tomhle videu bych chtěl navázat na moje úplně první video na tomhle kanále, rozdíly mezi americkou a britskou angličtinou, akorát tady v tom videu bych chtěl se na to podívat z té stránky rozdílných slov, vlastně který jak Američani a Britové využívají pro jednu a to samou věc. Takže se na to rovnou vrhneme. Okay, and from now on, we're going to proceed in English only to make things a little bit more challenging for you. Okay, so the first word. How would you call this? Well, the Brits would call it autumn, but the Americans would call it fall. Autumn and fall. Word number 2. What's this? Well, the Brits would call it a lift, whereas the Americans would call it an elevator. Word number 3. What is this? British people would call it a motorway, but the Americans would say a highway. Word number 4. What is it? The Brits would say a film. The Americans would say a movie. Okay, word number 5. What is it? The Brits would say football. Football. But the Americans would say soccer. Soccer. Okay, how do we call this? The Brits would say underground, or in London specifically, they would say tube. But the Americans call this subway. What is this delicious thing? The Brits would say it's a maze. A maze. And Americans would say it's a corn. Corn. How do we call this? Well, the Brits would say it's a flat. A flat. And the Americans would say it's an apartment. Okay, what is this? The Brits would say it's an indicator. The Americans would use a more familiar word, blinker. Blinker. Okay, what is this? The Brits would say it's a boot. A boot. But the Americans would say it's a trunk. Trunk. Congrats, first 10 words are in the bag. Now it's 20 to go, so let's crack on, shall we? How do we call this? For Brits, it's a jumper. For the Americans, it's a sweater. Sweater. Okay, what's this thing we're all looking forward to? The Brits would call it a holiday, but the Americans would say it's a vacation. Vacation. This word, for the Brits, it's a lorry. A lorry. But for the Americans, it's called a truck. Truck. What's this? For the Brits, it's a petrol station. Petrol station. For the Americans, it's a gas station. Gas station. How do we call this? Well, in Britain, it's a pavement. But in America, it's a sidewalk. Sidewalk. Okay, this is a very common one. What are these? In Britain, these are called trousers. But in America, they're called pants. What's this building we all love to go to? In Britain, it's called a cinema. A cinema. But in America, people call it the movies. The movies. How do we call this? In Britain, it's a shop. In America, it's a store. Store. Okay, what's this one? In Britain, you would hear a cooker. It is a cooker. But in America, it's a stove. Stove. Okay, what's this room called? In Britain, it's called, in a formal language, a toilet. But in an informal language, it's called a loo. But in America, this room is called a restroom. A restroom, sometimes bathroom. Okay guys, bear with me on this, it's just 10 more words to go. Let's go. Right, now everybody loves these, but what are they actually called? In Britain they're called crisps, but the Americans use a more familiar phrase to us, chips. These are chips. Fine, now these everybody loves as well. In Britain, these are called chips. In America, These are French fries or just fries. No one likes this, but what is it? In Britain, it's a queue. A queue. The Americans say it's a line. A line. Right, how would you call this? The Brits would say it's a torch. Torch. The Americans would say flashlight. Flashlight. Ugh, what is this? In Britain, you would hear it's rubbish. Rubbish. In America, you would hear them say garbage or trash. Oh my god, what are these? The Brits say it's sweets. Sweets. But the Americans say candy. These are candy. Okay, this one, such an important item in the kitchen. What is it? Brits would say it's a fridge. A fridge. In America, they'd say it's a refrigerator. Refrigerator. What do we call this? In Britain, it's a car park. Car park. In America, they say it's a parking lot. What is this? In Britain, they say it's a wardrobe. A wardrobe. But in America, it would be more commonly referred to as a closet. Closet. Fine, and the last one, what's this shop called? In Britain, it would be a chemist or a pharmacy. In America, it's a drugstore. Well, congratulations everybody if you've managed to make it through the whole set of these 30 words. You're good lads. Now, this is all I've got for you for today, so have a wonderful rest of the day, or night, whatever, and see you later.